Good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, September 15th. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. I'm Sade Campbell, the Enrollment Communications Manager here at Houston Community College. Pleased to be joined by my guest co-host today, Dr. Lana Pigao. She is HCC's Northwest Communications Director, who is going to tell us, or tell everyone, how to find us.
You can find us live on the Houston Community College District Facebook page, not HCC. We're also on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and HCCTV at noon, 5 and 10 p.m., Monday through Friday.
Thank you so much for that. Well, today is Virtual Family Fun Day. That's our theme today for this edition of Up to the Minute. We will travel virtually to Fredericksburg to visit the National Museum of Pacific War. Joining us to discuss that is Ruth Ann Hattori. She's the Marketing Director of the National Museum of Pacific War. Good morning, Ruth.
Good morning, and good morning, everyone out there.
So happy to have you. We'll be right back with you. First, we'll talk to Coleman College's Pharmacy Tech program, and we're pleased to have Janet Pena join us. Welcome back to the show, Janet.
Thank you.
Janet is our program director for Pharmacy Technician program for HCC's Coleman College of Health Science. So let's kick things off with, since we haven't talked to you in a while, with clinical and labs, Coleman was definitely one of the hardest hit by HCC having to go remote during the pandemic. Is everything back to normal, or is it more of a new normal type of situation of what we're referring to? What can people expect these days?
Well, I'm happy to say that we were almost at normal, what used to be normal, but we are back on campus. We are offering all our classes. Well, half of our classes are online, but half of the other classes are in person. And so always the labs to every class experience as far as retail pharmacy setting, hospital pharmacy setting, and intravenous sterile compounding, we have to have our labs in person. We have state-of-the-art labs, a lot of technology, and students train really well, and we prepare them for the real-world experience. Other than that, we do offer the math in person because we felt that there was a need after the pandemic and being completely online. We found that pharmaceutical math needed to be in person. So we still kept some of the classes online for our students. And what we've done also is, because students come basically 2 days a week for labs, we decided to do the math class on those 2 days. That way they only come in those 2 days and they're done with us for the week.
Okay, good to hear. So you mentioned math classes and the labs. What should someone expect from your program? What credentials can they gain from going through the pharmacy technician program?
So the great thing about our program is that we are ASHP and ACPE accredited. ASHP is the American Society for Health System Pharmacists. With ACP, they partner. This is ACP joined ASHP about 2-3 years ago, and they're the American Council for Pharmacy Education. And so what that means to our students is that when they complete the program, they finish with their IV certification. What that means to them is that they are employable in a hospital pharmacy or home health care, anywhere where they compound intravenous sterile preparations. So that's a big plus. Plus the fact that, when we finish the last semester for the students, their last semester is their clinical internship rotations, and they go to a retail pharmacy, a home care pharmacy, and a hospital pharmacy. So they get so much training that they're very employable, and our partners love our students from HCC.
Awesome. So your partners, are these partnerships to work on students graduating with jobs, and how long does it take someone to complete the program?
So yes, the purpose, and now after the pandemic, the demand is high in healthcare because there's a big need to fill all these positions. So that's great for individuals that are coming to our program, because as soon as they finish, these employers, our partners, they want our students and they want to hire them. Now, in order for them to be hireable, they have to, of course, finish our program. But after they finish the program, they need to sit for that national exam, which is through the Pharmacy Technician Certification Board exam. And once they pass that exam, they can register with Texas State Board of Pharmacy.
Okay, so they go through your program, which
3 months.
them.
Sorry, you asked how long. So the program is 3 months. If when they begin full time. So, for example, this group that we have, our fall semester. So they're going to do their first semester, fall, second semester, spring, and then they graduate in the summer. So 3 semesters.
Okay. So 2 semesters, and then that prepares them for the accreditation exam?
3 semesters.
They do 3 semesters. Oh, 3 semesters. I thought, okay, 3. I was thinking 3 months. I was like, okay, they're done. So
no, it's 3.
And then that prepares them to take the test.
Yes, definitely. Because during that last 3rd semester, when they're going to all these, I want to say they're working for free, but they're gaining all this experience. They're networking. It's almost a guarantee that, where they're working at, that they're going to be offered jobs. While they're doing this, they're also going through a review class to get them ready for that PTCB exam.
So is that what you call your Coleman is referred to as like a practicum? They go through a semester where they're working. Okay.
Yes.
Good to know. So they're getting the curriculum, the real world experience, in addition to getting prepared for their test. So it sounds like an awesome program to really, get into this industry quick.
Yes, definitely. We have many different types of students. Some of them want to use this as a career. Some of them want to continue on to pharmacy school and work as a pharmacy technician. We even get nursing students that, want to, learn about the medications, the calculations, because nursing and pharmacy are very close. And so they go through the program. They probably work as pharmacy technicians to get that experience, and then they move on to nursing. So many types of students.
That's interesting around the intersection between those 2 programs. So for someone that doesn't understand what a pharmacy technician does, but may be interested in pharmacy, how would you explain it to them?
Well, we always start the first semester and we tell the students, actually even before the first semester, because we have an introduction class, which is used as a prerequisite class and also as a recruitment class. It's called PHRA 1301. Introduction to Pharmacy. And we give them an overview of what does it mean to be a pharmacy technician. And, a lot of people, they're kind of shocked because, you only know pharmacy techs to work in a type of pharmacy where you might see them at Walgreens counting pills or in front of a computer or in front of a cash register. A pharmacy technician job is a lot more than that. And they find out that depending on the pharmacy setting, there's all these skill sets that they have to acquire other than just retail pharmacy. So being a pharmacy technician it's a great job because, you use all your skill levels. You have to be very analytical. You have to be you have to like calculations, right? Because we do, doses all the time. We calculate doses, so it's a lot of different things to learn about the medications, learn how to repackage medications, learn how to compound intravenous sterile preparations. A pharmacy tech does all the jobs. It's just that they work under the supervision of a pharmacist, and the pharmacist will verify everything that we do. But it's a very exciting, very interesting job.
Gotcha. That it definitely sounds like that. And it's great that you all have a class that really gives students a preview or a teaser to what they can expect from going through your program. Now, we talked about the time, degrees and certificates. What does a student walk away with? Is it AAS? Is there level 1, level 2?
So also the great thing about the program is that we're very versatile as far as, what the student can do at that point in time. So we do offer the certificate. It's a certificate level 2. So all the classes that they take are credit courses, right? With the program. We also offer with the certificate level 2 an associate's in allied health. And so they could go for that also. A lot of students, they might have accumulated a lot of college credits, and many of them will, they sit down, speak with the advisor, and they figure out how to, finish with an associate's plus a certificate. For that certificate is very important. Like I mentioned before, they have to show that for their IB certification.
Gotcha.
And one more thing before I leave, we are trying to start something new. It's called the OSA, Occupational Skills Award. And what we're trying to offer, we're offering this at Southeast Campus. It's a retail certificate. Now that one is a certificate level 1, but we're trying to train students to do well in retail pharmacy, because there's a high demand. There's a need for retail technicians. So it's a brand new thing we're starting and hoping we'll get it off and it'll be successful.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of the opportunities that are available for our pharmacy technician program at HCC Coleman College of Health Science. Thanks for joining us, Janice. We'll have all the information posted after the show for those who are interested in enrolling. I'm going to kick it over to Lana.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sade. Well, we're going to move on to Ruth Ann Hattori. She is the Marketing Director of the National Museum of the Pacific. Good morning, Ruth Ann.
Good morning.
So let's dive right in. You are up in quaint Fredericksburg, which is not that far from us, and your museum is quite fascinating. Tell us about this year's symposium called 1942, The Perilous Year. And
this year we are having let me tell you a little bit about the history of Symposium first. This is our 35th anniversary presentation of Symposium, which we do every fall. And it was actually started in 1988 by Helen McDonald, who was the program director for the Texas Parks and Wildlife, who actually operated the museum at that time. So it's evolved over time. It began with primarily having prominent World War II veterans come and talk about their experiences. And then as the veterans aged, of course, and not as many of them could speak, we started bringing in lots of historians, academicians, authors, and so on. So here we are, fast forward to 2023 in our 35th year. And this year, our theme is, as you said, 1942, the Perilous Year. Every year we've had a theme. We've explored some pretty interesting things, certainly key battles, obviously, of World War II. But we've had some pretty intriguing themes like military and the media, the war crimes trials. And last year, our theme was a catalyst for change, diversity in World War II, and we explored really much of the African American, Latino, Asian American, Native American participation in World War II. And so this year we're kind of celebrating the 80th anniversary of 1942, which was considered kind of the pivotal year of the war. We have a stellar lineup. This year we have 5 amazing authors and historians. Leading off with John Parshall, who is a historian who often lectures at the Naval Academy. He co-authored a book called Shattered Sword, The Untold Story of the Battle of Midway. And it's considered really the definitive account of the Battle of Midway, which, for those of you who aren't familiar, the Battle of Midway was America's first big victory in World War II, and it kind of demonstrated that our Navy was superior over the Japanese. And so John will be giving an overview of 1942 and why it was so important, including obviously the Battle of Midway, but many other events that happened that year. And next we have Richard Frank, who is an internationally recognized authority on World War II. He's certainly an award-winning author. He will be talking about the battle at Guadalcanal, which was a 6-month brutal battle that started in August of 42 and actually spilled over, obviously into 1943. And Rich is actually working on his second volume of a trilogy about World War II in the Pacific. We're also going to take a look at the Army's role in World War II. Many people think that the Marines dominated the ground fight in World War II, but in fact, many, many more Army soldiers actually fought in the Pacific than the Marines. And our speaker, John McManus, is determined to make sure that more people know about that. So he's actually working on a trilogy about the Army and their service in Asia Pacific. He is a professor at the U.S. military, at the Missouri University of Science and Tech, and he is in the history department there. And we haven't forgotten women. Women played a big role in World War II, as many of you know. We have Catherine Sharp-Landeck, who is a history professor at Texas Women's University, to talk about the WASP. They are the they were the Women's Air Force Service pilots, which actually started in 1942. And Landeck actually is the author of a book called Women with Silver Wings, the inspiring story of the women Air Force pilots of World War II. And I just want to ask the audience, did you know that the WASPs, many WASPs, actually trained and flew out of Love Field in Dallas during World War II? Wow. And yes, and the WASP Museum is in Sweetwater, Texas.
Wow. That's great history for Texas.
Yeah, so we're really excited that she's going to be able to speak to us. She's a great speaker, and I think people really enjoy her. And batting cleanup, we have Craig Simons. He's quite a celebrated author and naval historian. He's actually professor emeritus at the Naval Academy. And his new book just released, is called Nimitz at War, Command Leadership from Pearl Harbor to Tokyo Bay. And it tells the story of Fredericksburg hometown hero, Fleet Admiral Chester Nimitz, which is, of course, the reason why the museum is here in Fredericksburg.
Okay, that's good to know. So I got to land on Midway, and it was really a cool place. And, the history behind it was fascinating. And I'm from Honolulu, and we actually have a highway called Nimitz Highway that was named after.
That's right.
Right. So what is the importance of having a museum like this?
Well, I think that in general in America, we focus a lot on the war in Europe in terms of World War II. So, the Battle of Normandy and, all of the things surrounding the Holocaust are very well known in American history. And I think there's much less focus on the Pacific War. And in fact, really, if you think back on what happened in the Pacific War, we did not enter the war until the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, in Hawaii. And so the Pacific War was really defining in terms of how we ended the war. The war in Europe actually ended months before the war in the Pacific ended. And so it's fitting that somebody really focuses on that. And we are the only museum in the continental United States that really devotes itself solely to that story. And our mission is really to tell the stories. And this is really Nimitz's vision as well. When he was asked, can we start a museum in your name? He said, well, not unless you can tell the story of everyone who fought in the Pacific War. And so really we're focused on telling the stories of the everyday people who really did extraordinary things to protect our freedom.
Great. Well, thank you, Ruth Ann Hattori, Marketing Director of the National Museum of the Pacific War. We'll have your information on how folks can sign up and get additional information after the show about your museum. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we hope everybody comes. And if you can't join us in person, join us virtually.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Lana and Ruth. Ruth Ann, excuse me. We have some announcements to make as we always kick off our we end our show with announcements, excuse me. So we want to share the upcoming things you can expect here at Houston Community College. We have our Swift programming classes at Fraga campus. If you're looking to create your own apps, sign up today to learn how to create iOS computer programming apps. MacBooks are available for loans, so you can use it during the course, and students can earn college credit toward a certificate as a mobile app developer. Classes are happening September 21st through December 11th. Check out our post after the show to learn more.
Yeah, and we have a piano master class coming up. We have on our faculty world-renowned pianist, Dr. Diego Caetano. He is a professor at Sam Houston State, and he'll lead a masterclass for HCC piano students. That is September 30th from 2 to 4 p.m. It's at the Stanford Fine Arts Center. It's free, but you have, and registration is not necessary, but we'll have information after the show if anyone's interested.
Yes, and we are back with our Small Business Success Series. HCC Small Business Success Series starts in October with 10 two-hour interactive Zoom sessions, all at no cost, thanks to our partnership with Wells Fargo. Attendees can check out such workshops as Vet the Venture, Financials for Small Business, Sales and Marketing, and Minimizing Risk, all things that small business owners need to know. Classes are happening from 2:30 to 4:30, Tuesdays and Thursdays, October 11th through November 10th. Details will also be posted after the show.
Yeah, and get ready for prom night. Mark your calendars now for the 2022 Bedichek Orman auction. It supports worthwhile professional development opportunities for our faculty here at HCC. It's a fun evening of bidding on great items for a great cause. And that is Friday, October 28th at the West Houston Institute. And we'll have information posted after the show.
And there will be no up to the minute tomorrow because of another great cause, our Employee Significance Breakfast, where we will be recognizing years of service from our employees. So HCCTV will be participating during that event and will not be live on Friday. We will see you again on Monday.
And although fall 2022 semesters begun, students can still register for shorter, more intensive sessions with some course options. You can do online anytime, no established class meeting times unless listed. Online on a schedule, which is meeting time is set and courses meet online. There's our hybrid, which is a lecture class meets partially face-to-face and partially virtually. And then there's our in-person, which of course is face-to-face with traditional meeting patterns at various campuses, and our hybrid labs, which is a lab and studio courses. So for registration and for more information to all HCC programs, you can go to hccs.edu/apply.
Yes, and on hccs.edu/apply, you will see that the next session is starting on Monday. We will have our second start session beginning on Monday. That second start session is a 12-week, includes 12-week courses with all of the different types of learning options that Lana shared. So there's still time if you need to talk to an advisor or get some more information, visit us today. Well, that concludes this edition to Up to the Minute. What you have to look forward to is we will be launching Deaf Awareness Week next week. We'll have two important guests, the faculty advisor for HCC's Student Association, as well as its president, a hearing impaired student, and her interpreter will be on the show for us to all learn about how we can support the community more and what they have planned. You want to share what we also have planned for Mental Health Monday, Lana?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sure what we have for what's coming up on Monday.
Oh, apologies. I kicked it to you. I think you thought I was going to wrap it on out. Well, for Mental Health Monday, we'll have our own HCC counselor, Roxanne Francis. She'll return for her regular monthly visit to share her tips around mental health. So that's what we can expect on Monday. We thank you for joining us for this edition of To the Minute. And as a reminder, we will see you on Monday. There will be no show tomorrow. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Sometimes what you need just shows up. Houston Community College has your back, whether you're knocking out some basics or upping your game for a better job. Enroll today for spring classes and frame your future with HCC.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
That one day at PE when they were like yelling at me and then you just linked arms with me, I don't think you know how much like that helped me. I finally like knew that I had somebody.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Look.
911, where's your emergency?
Everyone's on their way. What happened?
Your friend's not safe.
Please get my mom and dad. Oh my God.
150 over 90.
180 over 111.
160 over 110. I had a stroke.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life. Lowering them could save you from having a stroke. If you've stopped your treatment plan, restart it or talk to your doctor about creating one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
Now I'm, trying to get better, stronger than ever.